All right, so speaking of slime,
Yeah.
let's talk about Trauma Comics' Nazi Werewolf from Outer Space 2, which, almost a month ago, we were lucky enough to have Simon Sanchez in here.
Simon Sanchez.
And he was lucky enough to give us a preview of the comic, which is not out yet. So let's begin. First of all, it's about Nazi werewolves from outer space being led by Hitler's head attached to a robot gorilla body.
No, it's a gorilla body with a robot arm.
Oh, the robot arm
and a head.
Don't screw up his work, man.
Come on, man. You can't just be perfect.
I have a vision, and that is a robotic arm.
But he's answering to a shadowy figure.
Yeah,
that's
a
why I
la
went
type
part
foul
3.
or something.
And here's the thing. I'm guessing it's some sort of vampire because vampires are always in charge of werewolves.
I don't believe that.
You don't think it's Vampire Stalin?
No.
That's who I'm betting
No.
on.
Ooh.
Stalin, wrong side. It would be
they
Ava
started
Braun.
off as
Ava
friends.
Braun. There you go.
Ooh, it could be like a very sexy giraffe, Ava Braun. Just that would
A
be
sexy giraffe with big boobs is what I'm imagining. I don't know how that
she
works.
would have like 8 nipples.
Oh yeah, I mean
going down, but
the
then if she would
Nazi
be
werewolf
grafted.
scientists are all into grafting parts.
Let's not give that story. I want to trademark that one for the DELoL show.
Ava Braun, giraffe.
Sexy giraffe. I want to keep that one.
Randy, the domain right now.
Randy, yeah,
Someone is right now. Direct Nick.
Yeah.
This is gold.
No, better yet, right now there's the guy who's working on the new Michael Bay movie. He's like, shit, they beat me to it. He's like 3/4 of the way right now. Monopoly flip over table.
I had the same thing, but they were aliens.
Oh, she had 6 nipples. I should have gone with 8. I'm so stupid. So, okay, well, let's, everybody took a look at this a couple of weeks ago, and I recently refreshed myself on it today.
I didn't.
It's definitely pulp. Let's start
is.
there. It definitely harkens back to the Tales from the Crypt
It should have definitely,
type.
like I said before, the EC, the old William Gaines stuff. It's very very different, and it's very nice to see somebody doing that in the Dallas area rather than just like the basic superhero stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's obviously a little bit of gore fest.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you have on every page, there's, of course, somebody eating intestines directly out of a screaming person, or they're poking out somebody's eye.
And they're
or,
all scientist werewolves.
Yeah.
Scientist werewolves.
Scientist werewolves.
Yeah, and I understand they're werewolves.
You would really like this, right?
But here's my other thing. If they're
It's
wolves
really cool.
constantly, aren't they just Nazi wolves? So they have to change back and forth to be werewolves.
Wolfman.
No, werewolf is more of the human form, hybrid
Yeah,
form.
like they're on
I see.
on
They're
the
a
hind
little more like
legs and-
anthropomorphic.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So you learn something new every day.
Good. Wow, good
Thanks.
job. That's like 5 syllables.
Bifurcation. Deoxyribonucleic acid. See, I paid attention in school. So, Jay, what was your take on this? I know you have one big concern here about the story.
Well, we're not going to get into that. I really love this story. I really like that it's following one character the whole time, and I think this kid's he's either going to die in the next issue or just become like a super deluxe badass.
See, I'm thinking the super deluxe badass.
They've already tried to kill him, and they had him captured, and he got out still, and I mean...
Yeah, I do appreciate that they give you a nice protagonist that's going through it, because you would be so tempted with a Nazi invasion from Werewolves from Outer Space to just show what's happening all over the world. You don't have one character to kind of slide in to identify with, and it is nice that you can get behind this one character and feel like you're trapped, you're being taken advantage of.
And he's lost so much.
Yes,
Yeah,
Poor
he just
guy.
lost his mama in this last issue.
Yeah, his mom becomes... here's what's weird. I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for this, but when she's bitten by a normal zombie, she turns into a werewolf zombie, which I didn't know was a thing, but I'm sure there's science behind it, which we'll learn about in the third
Because
issue.
maybe the zombies that had actually bit her had already been injected by the werewolf zombies with some sort of serum.
Well, I guess they did put out her eye by shooting the liquid into it, so maybe that made her the werewolf, and then, of course, the zombie bite just accentuated the different horror aspects there.
I like to think the creator of this comic is at home going, "No, I just fucking did it."
Oh, I guarantee. Here's the thing: is with Simon, I bet it probably was. He was just like, I wanted to see a werewolf rip somebody up, and I have no doubt that. And a lot of it is that. That's what's nice about the pulp type stuff is you can say, God damn it, I want to see a werewolf zombie eat somebody's head, and you can draw it, and don't worry about the story so much. You can just do it.
Also, like the Hitler attached to a gorilla suit. I just want to see Hitler attached to a gorilla suit.
There's absolutely no reason, at least that I've seen for that.
It's probably really where it stemmed from. He had this vision of like Hitler grafted onto a gorilla suit. And was like, how can I write around this particular guy?
See, I like the idea if he woke up and he's like, I've got an idea for a story about a young man who moves here from another country, and it's his way of dealing with the economic hardships in the 1920s. And somehow he's like, how the fuck did I get to Adolf Hitler's head on that story took a weird turn. I was not paying attention to what I was doing.
Fucking acid.
Yeah. He's got this like Great Gatsby type story in his head, and by the time he's done with the story, he's like, wow, that fucking went weird.
Gatsby could have been improved by Werewolves.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
there was the Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies that took a step
It
up.
was awful.
And
Yeah, actually, I didn't.
And it's just gone down, become this giant.
Oh yeah, for the first
genre.
30 pages was great. Then after that, I'm like, I get it.
And then also was it Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? I fell asleep in that.
That was to me a very boring movie.
It was
didn't
quite
see it.
boring.
I never
you,
saw
you
it.
did not mess out on
I
anything.
did just see the other day FDR American Badass, which is him fighting werewolves.
Oh yeah, I heard
Is
about
it?
that.
What?
It's not good.
Oh.
It is.
Aw.
Barry Bostwick.
I love Barry
Let me
Bostwick.
show my southernness. Bless his heart. he really carries it. He really commits to it. He's fun to watch, but there's a point where it's
Oh, you're gonna need to get my.
Oh.
Sorry, Randy, to get a little more.
there's
on
a
that mic.
point where it's just like, oh, see, we're doing racist jokes. We're funny now. Like, no.
Oh,
It's-
speaking of that type of humor, I watched movie 43 over the week.
Oh,
That's the one where it's an all-star cast, and it's like one of the Farrelly brothers. Here's how bad it was. One of the Farrelly brothers said, I don't want to do it. It was one Farrelly brother. They shot it over
Damn.
10 years because people kept backing out. When they asked Clooney to be in the movie, he said, oh, fuck no. That was his response for wanting to be in the movie. And they got like an all-star
Hugh
cast.
Jackman,
like,
Halle Berry.
Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry. I mean, everybody I can think of was
Anna
in this
Faris.
movie.
I love Anna Faris.
And what's funny is they even said, and like if you're reading the Wikipedia page or you're watching the interviews, Farrelly is like, yeah, we definitely guilted people into this movie. You know, we got them to sign a contract, or we waited until, you know, they'd be like, oh, I'm filming another movie. They're like, oh, okay, we'll fly out there, and if you have a free day, we'll shoot it. And he's like, so many people tried to back out, and I think he was expecting it to be this like Kentucky Fried Movie grand slam that it'll be a funny story that nobody wanted to be in it, and instead it just comes across as like, yeah, we had to trick every single person into being in the movie, and it was horrible. And it wasn't even like a fun type horrible, like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or like Manos, Hands of Fate or anything. It was truly the worst film I've ever
the
seen.
problem with FDR American Badass is it tries to be that. Like, we're going over the top, and Barry Bostwick was hilarious, but it just felt like it starts off really great, and it feels like someone else came in and had to write the last half of it and didn't really get the humor.
No.
And it's like, I'll just throw racial slurs out. I'll just throw misogyny out. Like, okay.
Yeah. And see, what's nice about, to bring it back to the Nazi Werewolves, is it's actually a drama. Like, there's
Yeah.
no real comedy in there. And it's, usually it's a very tongue-in-cheek comedy, like, especially with Tales from the Crypt, or even like the original Tales from the Crypt movie. You watch something like that. There's usually a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, poking fun at the genre and the silliness of it. But I like that in Nazi Werewolves, it's a drama.
Well, no,
You're
it is a
watching a
true
kid lose his life and his family
So
and
it's
his
more
mother.
like the EC Comics of war comics, which were not very tongue-in-cheek, very
Right.
dramatic.
Yes, this is almost. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's a war.
Well,
It's
it
a
is
war
it is a
comic.
war comic.
You just happen to have the little bit of schlock of the crossover into pulp. But you're right. It's more of a war comic that also happens to have the bad guys just being a little bit. That's the only that's the only playfulness about it is.
The bad guys are absurd.
You've got the bad guys absurd, but yet they act realistically evil.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, Hitler looks silly as a Hitler head on a gorilla body, but then he acts like he's an evil guy who wants to kill people and do stuff.
He
I mean,
acts
fucking
like
Hitler.
Hitler.
He's fucking Hitler.
and it's just weird that and it's an interesting blend that I'm going to go with this absurd premise, but I'm going to play it as a serious drama, and you're really kind of rooting for the kid.
Yeah.
The
No, I'm definitely
protagonist in
rooting
the
for the
story.
kid.
And you really kind of feel what he goes through and losing his mom and everything like that.
Well, she's a werewolf now. It's the next issue is going to be. That's going to be
Yeah.
rough.
Maybe
on
he's
that
going to be
kid.
on a quest to find some sort of cure for her.
Maybe, or he's going to have to kill her.
I'm going with that.
Probably. It seems to be the way this story has been going. Like every time that you think it's as bad as it can be for this kid, life shits
Next
on him a
page.
little bit more.
Yeah. But I do want to see who. This is something that does need to be answered at some point. It doesn't have to be the next one. But who is Gorilla Hitler reporting to?
Yeah, we
The
need to
Black
know.
Machine. That's important. So, Randy, having not read the comic,
Yeah.
what's your opinion?
I just like the idea of Gorilla Hitler.
Go ahead and
Honestly,
scoot in a little more. You're going to be right up on that mic.
I really like
your
the
beard
idea.
is filtering out a lot of that sound.
I just like the idea of a gorilla Hitler. I mean, that's really the most important part right there.
Yeah.
And beyond that, like, I want to see what the other Access leaders were grafted onto.
Mm-hmm.
You figured
Yeah,
it has to be more.
I want
Yeah,
to.
that's
I want
what
to
I'm
see where
hoping.
like Emperor Hirohito is and what he's grafted onto.
Yeah, Simon, now that's the
Panda bear.
direction to go.
Battle mech. Oh,
Well,
battle
that's
mech.
China.
Battle mech.
Yeah.
Komodo dragon.
For no reason, can we get Mao Zedong drifting around in this? I would like to see
But
him.
he wouldn't make sense.
And he
No.
does. No, it does because there's no reason you can't introduce time travel or time warping in a series like this. And
enough.
Chairman Meow, he should be grafted onto a cat.
Yep.
See where I'm going with this?
That's our new band project we're working on.
Yeah. So thumbs up, thumbs down, two thumbs sideways.
Two
Jay?
thumbs up. I love this series. I really want to read more of it. And I'm hoping, Mr. Sanchez, hope you're watching. Please write more for Kung Fu Satanist.
Oh yeah, and the Kung Fu Satanist. We're not reviewing that today, but that is definitely a very,
But
very fun
that's just
title.
my personal plea to him.
And I gotta say, I give it two thumbs up. It's a joy for what it is. It's really good, and then for what it's not, it's different. You know,
Yeah.
I like I never thought about it as like you're saying. It's a dramatic war story. You just happen to have absurd enemies, and doing it like that kind of makes it even better for me. That it's a little pulp, but it's a lot of drama, and I like that about it too. So two thumbs up.
Okay.
Oh, it's me. Two thumbs for sure. I'm digging it, and I am, as well as you guys, interested in the next one to see what's going to happen to that kid and who's behind all this. And I just want to see more animals grafted to heads, or vice versa.
The face on the llama body was like the weirdest.
That
one.
that was really weird.
What about the pterodactyl person?
That was weird too, because of all.
I'd like to see
okay,
more
now here's the
pterodactyl
thing: they
person.
skipped over. They didn't just graft it to an animal that exists. They had to go out Jurassic Park style,
There's a time
Clone
travel.
a pterodactyl.
recreate pterodactyls just to graft somebody's face to it.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
something they just
caring.
gloss over.
That's because you care.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least that shows they're dedicated to their job. Those Nazi werewolves.
Yeah. They are ready to graft onto anything that they get.
Because I
It could have
imagine
been a flying
I
squirrel.
was imagining there's a meeting where they, three of them show up in front of Gorilla Hitler, and they're like, he's like,
So, yeah.
pterodactyl. There's no point in that. And they're like, but sir, we really need to stretch our chops. We can clone. We can do this. Would you please approve this project?
Please,
That's a
my
whole
dear.
scene that doesn't even appear anywhere in there.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be I'd like to picture them as like the kamikaze pterodactyls.
Yeah.
They're just going to be suicide bombers just during the war.
I want to see them graft somebody's face onto something that isn't living, like
A
a
tree.
bicycle. Yeah, or, a tree is living. Jay, you should have paid attention to biology.
They should graft a person's face onto another person.
Yeah, that would be. We took your face off and we grafted it back onto your face.
I would like to be grafted onto a pterodactyl for sure.
Really?
Yeah. If anyone out there decides they
All
wanna
right,
draw a pterodactyl.
doctors of the DELoL show. If you know how to graft it, and cloners, I guess.
You're going to have so many creepy guys walking conventions. I can make your dreams come true.
Uh oh.
Hello.
I guarantee by next year, Sean is going to come up and be like, "I've learned how to clone pterodactyls."
I'm just going to say this, and that's all I'm going to say, is this past weekend at AllCon, I found out that he'd actually had someone draw me as a sexy nurse in a different position. And that's where shit starts to get creepy, when people can start having you drawn by other people in random positions as different people. So
Well,
that was interesting.
Welcome to
We'll-
the internet and Rule 23.
and that's not even the
Rule
internet. That's
34.
just like convention scene, and we'll have to talk about that a little bit more
What
at AllCon.
was the position?
I
Let's,
don't
no.
No.
It
Okay.
was her eating a whole bucket of ice cream by herself. Very unflattering.
With a ladle.
Not even a ladle, just
Just tears rolling down.
on the
ladle.
couch. Just,
I deserve this. And that's actually happened to me before, so that's what makes it sad.
All right, guys. Well, that's 8 thumbs up for the Trauma Comics Nazi Werewolves from Outer Space 2, soon to be available. And I believe Keith's and Zeus and Titan, and a few other places.
Yes.
But you can find on Facebook, just search Trauma Comics. I shouldn't be having to do this.
And they
This is
also
why
have
people should know how to do
a
this.
werewolf,
they
Nazi
do-
werewolves.
Oh, okay,
from
and the
Outer
Nazi
Space
Werewolves
page,
from Outer
too.
Space page, too. So make sure you join up on both those. But 8 thumbs up. Good job, Simon. We really like it. We're looking forward to